Okay, while waiting for all these things to happen, welcome to Ask Me Anything Sunday session. Well, if this is the first time you hear this, whether you're listening to the podcast version of this or you are actually watching the YouTube or in my Facebook group, which is Facebook Ads Transformation Group. Now, this is where I go live every Sunday night to answer your questions about Facebook advertising and digital marketing. Okay, and this is episode 74, if I'm not mistaken. So that means I have been doing this for more than 70 over weeks right now. And this is what I've been doing, really to help the community to grow. I mean, the angle here is, to be frank, I don't think there are a lot of people doing this in the region that we are actually living in right now. I serve the Southeast Asia region. On top of that, I also have clients coming from all around the world, including US, UK, Turkey, Korea, Argentina, South America and all these places. It's a very interesting community that we are serving, which is people who are interested in Facebook advertising, digital marketing, e-commerce in Southeast Asia region, growing their business digitally using digital marketing, so-called tools and features and platforms in the Southeast Asia region. So mainly, I talk about Facebook advertising and content marketing, YouTube marketing, and if you want to answer any questions, feel free to pop your question in my Facebook group as well as my YouTube channel. Just drop them in any of my videos, or you can actually reply, putting a comment in my podcast as well. What else can you do? Like dropping me a message on my Facebook page, and these are all the channels you can reach me. So basically, this is what we do, and I'm actually having a few questions that I received in the past one week plus. I think in the past 1 week. So basically, let me bring this up. Okay, now really welcome back to Ask Me Anything Sunday as usual. Okay, now usually this is what I would do first before I dive into the questions that I receive. Right. So this is basically my podcast. If you're already listening to this on my podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. However, I just want to quickly update you about topics I discussed or I talked about in the past 1 week on my podcast. You can actually scan this QR code and listen to it on Apple Podcast or Spotify. And of course, if you want to listen to it on the Anchor, which is I'm using to host my podcast. Now, a few topics that I think that are quite interesting. In episode 47 last week, I talked about how I run marketing experiments. You see, one thing I totally believe in is, as a business to progress, we have to constantly experiment, and we have to constantly challenge our business model to stay ahead of competition. Because one thing for sure that is going to happen, whether you like it or not, is there will be competition in your market. No matter what, competitive advantage that you have built, one day eventually somebody is going to come to you. Like recently, we talk about Netflix announced their quarterly earning. It dropped by 35%. I mean, the share price dropped by 35% because I think they lost millions of subscribers within a quarter itself. So, we all know that Netflix has been really building its business around to challenge the blockbusters, studios and all that. They started with, sending the DVDs and all that to businesses, and eventually, they pivoted their business to into the streaming. To turn them into a technology company instead of just what do we call a content renting company. And it actually built quite a number of, they built a business model that is very solid in the past many years, and they have built a big fortune, around the company, and they built, a big company out of that. And of course, the content that they created are really awesome. But then again, the challenge here is, in the past few years, a lot of, those, let's say, conventional companies like Disney has this Disney Plus. And then what else we have? We have HBO. What else? I mean, there are so many different streaming services out there, and Netflix has lost its competitive advantage. So I think running marketing experiments is really important. That's why I talk about it on how I run marketing experiments in episode 47. If you're interested to kind of look at my model, I think I'm famous for being a fast builder. So whatever I want to do, I'm just going to build it fast, and whether it happen or it doesn't happen, and we were going to make decision very fast. So that's 47. And on episode 48, I talk about how to measure success of your marketing experiment, which is and how to avoid burnout. You see, I think a lot of people focus on short-term metrics. I mean, I actually particularly talk about the content creation game. You see, a lot of people quit content creation too soon because they focus a lot on what do we call the vanity metrics, which is how many views they get, how many likes they get, and all these are metrics that doesn't mean anything to your long-term marketing outcome. So when you're building content, you know that you're in for a long game. Like, I talk about this particularly because last week I started doing experiment on TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And I've been posting tailor-made content, those kind of like vertical content on all these three platforms to see which one sticks, which one works better. And the whole idea here is I want to actually learn. So I would talk about that, eventually whether I have any outcome or not. Okay, I will walk away with some key learning. That's first thing. And I would have built somehow, one way or another, a following or somebody to view my content. If I still don't get anything, I posted this content on these platforms, which is potentially one day somebody may find me because of all this content. So you got to actually look at the success in the right time horizon. I think that's something that I really want to talk about, right? So in episode 49, I talk about the future of marketing, which is a very interesting topic. Well, I want you to go and listen to that. And 50, we talk about how to create converting Facebook ads. And 51, we talk about how to start content creation, which is really something very useful, especially for anyone, any marketers, any businesses who are looking to thrive in the Web3 environment or the future of digital marketing. Is really about content creation. You got to build your own content because this is how people recognize you. This is how people understand you, and this is how people eventually like you and choose to do business with you. That's something you have to take a look at. And last night I posted about my take on NFT. It's a big topic to me, to be frank. Okay, disclaimer: I don't own any NFT, and I've not created any NFT. And basically, I've done a lot of reading, listening, learning on NFT as a topic, and I really want to point out some potential challenges if you are looking at NFT as well. Like investment opportunity. It may not be a very good idea in the short term, but then again, this is really where I talk about the last 1 week. If you like some of the topics, scan this QR code, and go over to my podcast and listen to those episodes. And of course, if you have anything that you want me to talk about, you can always drop me a message on my Facebook page, and we're going to talk about that, right? So we have got a few questions lined up today. And, I don't have a lot of questions coming in from YouTube channel or my Facebook group, but I got a few questions that I've forgotten, that was posted to me on my Instagram account. I mean, I don't encourage you to send me anything on Instagram because, to be frank, that's not something that I frequent a lot. Okay, so yeah, we have a few questions, but before that, I think we have a question from Roy asking about the differences between verified business manager and non-verified business account. Are there any special features for verified business manager account? Good question, Roy. I think we talked about that in my last week's Jason Nation ad review Thursday. Basically, it's a inner circle program where those serious Facebook advertisers will join me every Thursday night for close to an hour live, where I review their Facebook ads campaign, answer their Facebook ads related questions, and we talk about the business manager. Okay, basically, we do know that there are some differences, but let me tell you the truth here is I actually got my business manager account verified only in November 2020. And prior to that, I was just using the normal non-verified business manager account because I didn't bother to verify that. And I was able to use almost, I would say, all the features I needed to use. So yeah, and yes, we were told that some features are not available on non-verified, but to be frank, even when I was talking to my other agency, so-called members within Jason Nation, we have a lot of agencies. I'm not a lot. We have some agency people, some from the client side, from the business side. So yeah, we were talking about yes, they are, but we didn't know. Actually, we couldn't really pinpoint what are the features that are only available in Verified Business Manager. So Roy, I hope that answers your question. To be frank, in my opinion, it's good to get it verified because it's really the best way for you to establish a, like a formal relationship and a more established relationship with Facebook, so that you're able to get support from them. Now we don't talk about Facebook anymore. We now say it's Meta right now, Meta. Okay. Yeah. So Roy, I hope I answered a question about the differences between verified business manager and non-verified business manager. Essentially, we still can't pinpoint what are the features that are only available in the verified BM, but my advice is get it verified. Okay, so if you don't have the verified feature, like the other day we were in the Jason Nation call, I think Jimmy didn't have it. So you can actually go to my YouTube channel and search for I think a video I talk about how to get the verified option or something like that, how to get your business manager verified. For sure, I remember I talked about that once. So go over and watch that video. Essentially, it will give you some steps about how you can actually get the verified button appear on my business manager. All right. Thanks for the question, Roy. And guys, if you have any questions, be like Roy, just type in a comment. As and when I see the opening, I'm just going to pop in and answer your questions. All right. So, yep, that's from Roy. And we have this question coming from Hassan. Hassan was asking, you are actually getting a pixel issue with your Facebook ads. When you click on the pixel and go to diagnosis, you get an error which says redundant purchase event. How do you resolve it? You see, here's the thing. Unless sometimes pixel has got some issue because of some, it's not really something that your fault. It could be because of the website structure. It could be because of the, the configuration. And to be frank, when I go into my diagnosis, I still see a lot of red flags and exclamation marks here and there, all these triangle things, right? As long as it is not affecting your ads performance. As long as, because remember, here's what I always like to emphasize. We are not using Facebook Pixel to do analytics work. Analytic works should be done using Google Analytics, because that's the purpose of that feature, right? Of that software or that system or that tool. Now, Facebook Pixel is mainly meant for Facebook advertising. We used to be able to do some analytics work on using the Pixel, but after the iOS 14, attribution is gone, and they have all these restrictions and all that. I don't even need to repeat that anymore. I think you know about that. So eventually, we give up Facebook Pixel as a measuring tool, right? So for your case, I would say, yeah, as long as it's not affecting your outcome. Just like when you're running ads, you know that, you received 10 leads. And then the moment you look at the business, the ads manager, if you see 11, it's actually kind of like, reasonable. There are some discrepancy here and there, right? Recently, we see that, sometimes they will misfire once or twice. And maybe it's not misfiring. Maybe it's because the person who actually performed the lead conversion, which is the person who converted, they probably refresh the thank you page once again. So that may re-trigger the event to fire as well. So sometimes this kind of discrepancy is reasonable. So as long as it's not affecting your campaign performance, I would say just stick with it. All right. Unless it is really affecting, then definitely I won't be able to answer your questions like this. We will have to schedule a one-on-one. You can actually go to my website, look for a one-on-one with me, so that we are able to dive into your situation together. All right, Hassan, thanks for the question. And we have Roy thanking me for the answer. Thanks for that. Thanks for popping by. All right, I think I've never seen you before, right, Roy? This is the first time. Thanks for joining me. Now, then we have a question from Fun. Okay, obviously, I guess this is a Vietnamese friend. So he's asking for help, okay, to verify the green checkmark page sent through the partner Facebook page. It's blue checkmark, it's not green, okay, sent through the partner. Now, the checkmark, as in like the verified checkmark on Facebook page, is really something that you can't get through partner. At least for my level of clearance, I won't be able to help you with that, because it's really something that you have to build your page, or sometimes, this is only now given to individual right now, as in like whether you are a personal, like what do we call that, public figure, okay? And then basically it's either you're a public figure or you're like whatever individual. Is more for celebrities, yes, and you're able to get it. For businesses, like let's say for me, I want to get one for Tribe of Academy, it's not possible. Facebook is now only giving the the verified check mark to people, human. All right, so that's what is happening, and I can't help you as a Facebook business meta marketing partner. Now we call it meta marketing partner right now. I won't be able to help you. So the next question here is also the same thing, right? Christian is asking, can you get Facebook partner to verify Instagram? Same thing. Okay, at least for what I know, I spoke to my account manager the other day. I asked him about these two questions. I can't get a verified partner. We can't help with this. A partner, a meta business partner, can't help you with this. At least for my level of clearance, I won't be able to help you with that. And my account manager also told me that he is not able to help with that as well. So that's for you, Christian. And I think, yeah, same goes to the fund as well. So these are two questions that I received about the verified feature. I guess definitely they will have some issues. I mean, they will have some ways for you to get that. But what I know here is you can't really apply for that right now. I used to keep a few pages that allow us to apply for one way or another, but all these pages are no longer exist. So I guess Facebook just removed everything entirely about this thing already. Okay, now I have some questions coming in from Facebook. Doris was asking where to get Google Analytics to check to replace Facebook Pixel. Doris, the easiest way is you go to Google Analytics, and you should be able to easily create it's free, okay, 100% free. And there are some paid version, but you don't really need to go that level. I've been using free for 10 odd years now. It's completely okay. So sign up for an account and you'll be able to get a string of code, okay? This string of, you don't even need to use string of code now. I think you can just need to get the Google Google Analytics, the ID, and you'll be able to integrate it with your website. And I know you're using Shopify, that you don't even have any issue. Basically, you just need to put in your Google Analytics ID and into the place that it should be. Just go into Shopify and look for some Google Analytics settings, to put in the ID, and everything will be running perfectly at the back end. So it should be okay to work with that. But in order to how to use Google Analytics, then I'm not an expert, but wait for it. Coming June, I'll be having a good friend from Singapore, Nizar. He's going to teach us how to really use Google Analytics 4. It's a GA4 course coming up in June. So if you want to follow that, then you can actually, just subscribe to any of my newsletter, go through my lead magnets and all that, then you'll be in my mailing list, and I'll be actually informing you. And of course, the other way is join me on my Sunday MA over here. If there's any courses coming up, and I'll be sharing with you. But another angle, another thing you probably want to look into is you will want to consider joining my Jason Nation. Well, because being a Jason Nation member, you get tremendous discount to join my partners trainings. So that's something that you definitely want to look into. All right. So that's Doris. But wait, before that, right? Let me go through that. Doris, we are not replacing Facebook Pixel. Facebook Pixel is still important, that we still have to keep it there because it actually helps us to, what do we call, measure the success of our Facebook ads campaign. But Google Analytics will become the go-to way for us to analyze, as in like we want to know the movement of the audience, the demographic of the audience, and how people use our websites and all that. But Google Analytics are mainly for websites. Okay, Doris? And the next question Doris has is about where to see for BM verification. I talked about that in Jason Nation last week's discussion. I think Jimmy asked that. Was that Jimmy? We talked about verification. I went in and, it's actually easiest way to talk about this is you go into your business manager, go to business info, and then there will be some steps. If you're allowed to verify, then you'll be able to do that. But if you're not, then go to my YouTube channel and look for the video to go through this verification. We talk about that. Don't worry, Doris. If you can't find, we will discuss again on coming Thursday in the Jason Nation call. Okay, we'll do it together over there as well. Okay, and Jimmy was saying you are interested to learn Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. Now, definitely, Jimmy is also my Jason Nation member. We're gonna do this in June. I mean, he's telling me June, okay? We just have to give it a buffer because Niza is a data scientist. He might be too busy, I don't know. But we were looking at we're actually planning to do this in June. Latest, I would say probably July. Let's give it a month or two, all right? So this is what's gonna happen over here. Okay, now Is there any comment I missed? I think all is good. Now, then I want to go through some questions I received from a call. Actually, a business. In fact, this is not the first time. In fact, this is the second time in 2 weeks' time. We have a lot. We have businesses talking. I mean, arranging a call with me, as in like they purchase my one-on-one call to ask me very specific questions about selling in Southeast Asia region. So the reason one was a business from Argentina, okay, and they are selling this removable tattoo, non-permanent tattoo. Is like a sticker that you can actually just transfer it on your skin, and this kind of tattoo will last for weeks, if I'm not mistaken. And they are big in Europe, and they are now planning to enter the Southeast Asia market. So basically, they asked a few questions, which I think it will be very interesting to for us to discuss about this, because we are all from this region. We are all from Southeast Asia region, and would like to hear your opinion, because I gave some of my 2 cents worth of my opinion, because I do work with e-commerce sellers from the region around the countries. But then again, I think if you are from any local, as in like probably Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, and all that, definitely it would be awesome if you can actually chip into the discussion as well. But one thing I want to tell you for sure is businesses are coming into our region. Like I said, Shopee is becoming the Amazon, just like Amazon in US, right? When Amazon becomes the biggest, eventually the whole world will flock to Amazon and sell things over there. This is why, like even Malaysia, we have a lot of so-called coaches are teaching how to sell on Amazon using the drop shipping model. And I believe a lot of you are actually probably drop ship sellers as well. But this is what is happening in our part of the world, where people from all around the world are coming to our Shopee, to sell. But the challenging part is, it's not like Amazon in US is just one country and one platform, right? But when you're actually selling in Southeast Asia market, it's a lot of countries over here. That's why they ask some interesting question, which I believe will be quite interesting for us to discuss as well. So let me bring it up. Now, the first question I received was, this is a very interesting question. They were asking, when it comes to e-commerce in Southeast Asia, which market, I actually, there's a typo here. Let me take this. Which market to start first? Now, I think this is a very subjective question, but their particular issue was their website only accepts credit card. So if you ask me, the countries with highest credit card penetration would be Singapore and Malaysia. And Philippines is okay, but Philippines, I've still faced cases where credit card is not really an option, because they have their local payment, which is already widely used by the local people as well. So if you want to really go for app, yes. And the other day I was just talking to one of my coaching clients who sells high ticket jewelry. I'm not sure, mid-ticket jewelry. He was saying it's something about things like above $200, okay, per item. So he said for this kind of situation in Philippines, he gets a lot of requests for COD, which is cash on delivery. So for anyone out there who is watching this video, probably if you want to enter Southeast Asia market, if your only payment method is let's say credit card or Stripe, all right, I would say the best market to start with is definitely Singapore and Malaysia and Thailand as well. But Thailand, you have a challenge because Thailand has the language barrier. So basically, Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, these are really, in a way, these are very fluent. I mean, these are countries with very high, what do we call, English illiteracy. I mean, did I use the right word? I'm not sure. So people understand English very well in these few countries. But if you go to Thailand, I'm not saying that people there don't understand English. It's just that they are very, very fond, to use their local language, which is very strong. So even in order to penetrate the market in Thailand, you got to write in Thai. I actually work with quite a number of US sellers, UK sellers, and even Israeli sellers. They all find somebody to write in Thai, for the Thai market. Same goes to Indonesia. Indonesia also prefers the local language. So this is really something that you have to really work on if you want to enter Indonesia market. And Indonesia definitely is I think Indonesia is even more powerful in terms of their payment gateway. Like what I was told was Indonesia was one of the first few countries in our region that accepts payment via phone number, as in like text. So this was like many years ago. It's like 3-5 years ago, which our e-wallet was not really the big thing in our part of the world. And I was like, seriously, can that happen? Because what we all know back then was, in order to do online transfer, you got to go to the bank, or you use the online banking. They don't. You just go to ATM and just put in the number, like however they do it. I don't know how, and that can actually complete the transaction. So that's something that is very unique to the country. And like we all know, Indonesia is a huge market. So if you want to start getting a footing and understand the market first, my advice is to start with Singapore market and Malaysia market, then followed by Indonesia, Philippines, and another thing that we must not forget is the Vietnam market, which is a booming market. It's really a big one, and English is okay actually over there. I met a lot of like even some of my I have a couple of clients coming from there. One of them is actually doing the language training, as in like they teach people English and helping them to really pass some exams, to get qualified for something. Very, 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 very booming market as well over there. So so that's my quick answer. If you want to enter Southeast Asia e-commerce market, start with Malaysia and Singapore. That will be a more viable one to start if your only payment gateway is like credit card, which is Visa and Master. And these are the few. And naturally, then you can expand to like Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, one step at a time. I think you really have to come in to understand the market first. First thing first, Southeast Asia market is very fragmented, but it's huge. It's so powerful, vibrant, and you can't ignore this market right now. But then again, you have to come in through the right way. Okay, so that's my take. And I think just now I also covered about the challenges in each market as well, which is like if you are going to Indonesia market, the challenge will be the language and the payment gateway. Very similar language challenge in Thailand. And you talk about Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, we are quite okay with English, which is those sellers from most countries are coming in using mainly English, right? So in terms of payment challenge, I guess you have different challenge even in Malaysia as well. I think there are still some people prefers like maybe cash on delivery, which is something that's been offered by the marketplace. But okay, hang on. Excuse me. I sneeze. Anyway, one of the ways actually to bypass all these challenges is to start selling on marketplace. Okay. Like for example, if you don't want to facilitate all these payment issues and all that, I think during the call with my Argentina client, I think we reached to a conclusion where I think they should start with Shopee or Lazada, because these are the platforms that takes care of all these payment issues and all that, which makes it a lot easier for them to try. I would recommend to start with marketplaces if you're coming into the market in Southeast Asia, simply because they know the market, they have the people, and people are very confident to buy on these platforms right now. And it's also a very good way for you to know the market. Because if you are coming into the market without much knowledge about the market, you'll find it very, very crazy different. So come in using the platform will be good. But the next question would be which platform to start with, right? So in my opinion, at this point of time, in most countries that I'm serving right now, including Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam as well. I'm not sure about the rest. The leading one is actually Shopee, but Lazada is getting some, stronghold in certain area. Well, there are some people who prefers to buy on Lazada. So in my opinion, if you want to start the market, if you want to enter the market fast and easy, and with the largest pool to start with, Shopee will be the better one. And I would say at this point of time, Shopee will be the better platform to start with. So eventually, the other question that I received from the call was, is there any Facebook ads tool to connect Shopee and Lazada? The answer is, if you're selling on all this, if you want to actually run Facebook ads with them, then you can actually use CPaaS. We all know there is a thing called CPaaS. Now, CPaaS fundamentally is a tool for you to do retargeting effectively, targeting people who visited your Shopee store or your product and did not purchase. So eventually you're able to retarget them, or or even to exclude them if you want to actually do that, or to to upsell, cross sell to those people who bought from you before. It's totally possible, but it takes some time to start to get CPass, because in order to get CPass, different country have different so-called regulations. I was told that it's definitely the easiest to get in Thailand, very difficult in Singapore and Philippines. Indonesia, I think relatively easier. Malaysia, you can apply, I was told, by Wing. But then again, whether you get it or not is still entirely depend on whether your account is matured enough or not. So that's something that you have to take into consideration. But yeah, so that's about selling in Southeast Asian market. I don't see any comments, questions coming up, so I'm just going to wrap this up by a quick introduction about Jason Nation. A few of you already are in my Jason Nation. Basically, it's a Facebook group. It's a different Facebook group where I go live every week to answer questions. This is where I answer pretty surface questions. But in Jason Nation, during our ad review Thursday, we dive deep into your campaign. So you're allowed to post your Facebook ads campaign, your metrics, and all that. And we will go through these numbers together, and I will share with you what are the potential optimization you can do to tweak. And you will not just learn from your own question, you will learn from other people as well. And these are all serious Facebook advertisers coming from Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, and Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines right now. It's a small group at the moment, but it's growing gradually. Now, you actually can't buy or join Jason Nation by yourself. You have to go through a one-on-one with me. So the group members there are awesome people. I can guarantee you that. So other than my ad review Thursday, I also have this monthly town hall meeting. This is usually happen on second Friday of the month. Usually second Friday of the month. So what we will do is I'm going to update you about what changed on Facebook ads and what are the things that I learned. And you can also share whatever you learn so that we can actually learn together, right? So that's the second thing. Now, the third thing we have here is what we call the monthly free training. So the monthly free training is where I'm committed to do at least one training every month within the Facebook group. And as Jason Nation members, of course, you get to join free. And we will be opening up for non-members, but you got to pay for that, okay? The next one coming up in May. My first training that I'll be doing within Jason Nation is deep dive into the latest Facebook ads objective lineup. Okay, we all know that the latest, Facebook changed their Facebook ads objective lineup, and it actually confused quite some people. So I'm going to take a deep dive into the new lineup and share with you what changed and how can you navigate. All right, so that's the third thing. And the fourth thing is we have this exclusive discount to partners training, which is, as I share with you, in June, we're going to have this Google Analytics training coming up. And we will charge accordingly, but as a member, you get at least 70% discount, that kind of stuff. Okay. And the last thing, which is the most important thing here, is if you join Jason Nation right now, okay, we are currently recruiting for the top tier, which we call the Epic Heroes tier. It's only limited to 77 people. We have filled, like close to about 15 people right now. If you are this tier, if you join now, you're entitled for one session of 30-minute one-on-one with me every month. Yeah, this is a non-rollover. Every month you get a session of 30 minutes with me. This is where you can ask me anything, okay, about your campaign. We take a deep dive into your campaign, or I can actually review anything you want, like your landing page or anything. So that's what we do. So Jason Nation is actually a monthly subscription model, and you can cancel anytime. So all you need to do is, basically, whenever you want to go, you just drop me an email, then we will be, I'm just going to cancel your subscription and you won't be charged. So like I said, you can't join Jason Nation, okay? You will have to schedule a call with me, and we're going to go through, like a quick chat together, and I will have to understand why you want to join, what are you going to hoping to achieve from Jason Nation, and from there, if we see fit, then invite you to join. If not, then I will tell you what else you can do with me, right? So that's Jason Nation. If you want, you can actually schedule a call with me so that we can actually have a discussion whether this is for you or not. But nonetheless, I think it's pretty fun that actually we can learn together, right? So we have a question from Roy, right? Roy is asking how much is a subscription. You won't believe how affordable it is, how reasonable it is. In fact, it's reasonable, crazily cheap. But I wouldn't talk about that. You can actually schedule for a call with me. Then I will inform you more. We are actually running an early bird promo right now for the first, I think, 30 members to come in. So come on in, come on in. I think it's quite fun. All right. So yeah, so that's from Roy. And we have another question from Farhan. So Farhan asked, would you say CPass is in the Singapore market is more suited to drive visits, add to cart rather than purchase? We notice solid performance up to add to cart. However, purchase metrics subsequently are poor. You're referring to Singapore market, right? I think for other markets as well, basically the yes, add to cart is really pretty good, but the purchase is subsequently poor. Could be because of a few reasons. One, probably your product is actually in a very competitive market that people may choose to buy from other people. Or the other thing is you don't have a very strong retargeting campaign set up properly. You see, if you have retargeting, what we usually do is this, for tier one campaign, which is the one that we are targeting the broad audience, yes, the purchase may not be as good, but we usually use the retargeting to really improve the overall performance of purchase. And if you do retargeting correctly with CPass, it usually performs really well. But then again, Farhan, can I also invite you to schedule a call with me using this link, tribeacademy.com/JasonNation. I mean, this is really for you to look at whether, if you want to join Jason Nation as a group. But, while we are at the call, I think we can actually spend 5 to 10 minutes looking into your campaign, right? I think it will be cool to do that. Farhan, right? Can you see the link? tribeacademy.com/JasonNation. Just come over and let's have a quick chat, basically to learn from each other, to learn about your business, and maybe I would be able to give you a more viable solution or, like potential, tweak that you can actually look into for your campaign. All right. So, yep, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for joining. Okay. Thanks for all the questions coming from Roy, Farhan, and Doris, and Jimmy. It's cool. So that's what we do every Sunday night at 10 p.m. So if you have any questions about Facebook advertising and digital marketing, feel free to join me live on Sunday night. If you can't, you can just pop your questions in my Facebook group, in my YouTube video. Any of the YouTube videos, I'll capture them. And of course, if you want to drop me a message on Facebook page, okay, don't go to Instagram because I usually don't open the so-called the message requests and all that, right? So, yep, thank you so much, guys. Have a great few hours of the weekend. And I know a lot of people just had a long holiday. And tomorrow, I hope you don't have a lot of Monday blue. Welcome back to work and have fun. I'll see you next week, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks and good night.